You're not bad with money. Let's start there. Seriously. Take a breath. If your bank account looks like it got into a bar fight and lost, it's probably not because you're irresponsible, lazy, or just bad with finances. It's because the entire system is engineered to quietly drain you while smiling and asking if you want fries with that. Let me ask you something. Have you ever looked at your checking account after a completely normal month? No wild shopping sprees, no luxury vacations, no diamond-encrusted jet skis, and thought, wait, where did my money go? You paid rent, you bought groceries, you grabbed a few meals out, maybe replaced your phone because it was acting weird. Nothing crazy. And yet somehow, you feel broke. Not, I'm struggling, broke. More like, I make decent money, so why does it feel like I'm running on a treadmill made of sandpaper? Broke. Here's the uncomfortable truth most Americans don't want to hear. A massive chunk of what we spend money on in the US is no longer worth the price. Not even close. The value is gone, the price has stayed, and we all just kind of accepted it. Like frogs in a pot, except the pot is a subscription bundle and the water is inflation. Welcome to modern American consumerism, where everything costs more, lasts less, and somehow still feels mandatory. And before you mentally argue with me, relax. This isn't a lecture. This is a wake-up call with jokes. Because if we don't laugh about this, we'll cry into our DoorDash receipts. By the end of this video, one of two things will happen. Either you'll get defensive and click away, which is fine. Denial is a classic coping mechanism. Or you'll start seeing your money differently. And once that switch flips, you can't unsee it. And yes, if that happens, you're probably going to subscribe. Not because I ask nicely, but because your brain will want more of this uncomfortable clarity. Now let's talk about the first sacred cow, fast food. Ah yes, the once holy promise of America. Cheap, fast, convenient. That was the deal. Fast food existed for one reason, to be affordable fuel for normal people. Remember when grabbing a burger felt like a financial non-event? You didn't budget for it. You didn't think about it. You just went. That era is dead, buried, probably replaced by a limited-time source. Today, fast food isn't fast food. It's just food. With fast food vibes and premium pricing. Go ahead, check your last receipt. A combo meal now runs you what? $12, $15, $18? And that's before tax. At McDonald's. You know, the place that used to be the economic safety net for broke college students and exhausted parents. Now you're sitting in your car, eating out of a paper bag, paying restaurant prices without restaurant quality. No plates, no service, no ambience. Just regret and a straw that dissolves halfway through the drink. And here's the thing that should really bother you. The quality didn't go up. The food is the same, arguably worse. But the price quietly climbed until we all shrugged and said, well, that's just how it is now. That phrase, that's just how it is now, has cost Americans billions. Fast food used to be a value play. Now it's a convenience tax. You're not paying for food, you're paying to avoid planning. And that's fine occasionally. But when occasionally becomes 3 or 4 times a week, you're not eating. You're leaking money. And it gets worse when we graduate from fast food to real restaurants. Sit-down dining used to be a reasonable habit. Once a week, maybe twice. Nothing extravagant, just a normal part of life. Now going out to eat feels like a special occasion that somehow happens every Tuesday. You sit down, you order 2 entrees, maybe an appetizer because you're already there. Drinks because water feels like giving up. The check comes. $72 before tip. Add tax, add tip. Congratulations, you just spent $95 on a meal you will literally turn into memories and cholesterol. And don't misunderstand me. Eating out isn't evil. Enjoying life matters. But doing this multiple times a week isn't treating yourself. It's quietly outsourcing your financial future to the hospitality industry. Most Americans who say they can't save aren't failing because they don't earn enough. They're failing because their money is being eaten, sometimes literally, in small, socially acceptable chunks. $20 here, $30 there, $60 on Friday because long week. That's not lifestyle. That's erosion. Now let's talk about one of the most emotionally charged money decisions in America. Cars. Specifically, brand new cars. This one hurts because I know someone is already muttering, but I deserve something nice. You might, but your finances don't care what you deserve. A new car is not transportation. It's a rapidly depreciating ego accessory. The second you drive it off the lot, it loses a massive chunk of its value. Not over time, not gradually, instantly. You haven't even adjusted the seat yet. And then it keeps dropping, every year, like clockwork. Meanwhile, you're making payments. With interest, you're paying extra money for the privilege of owning something that is actively becoming less valuable. That's not an investment. That's the opposite of one. And Americans keep doing this because we're emotionally attached to the idea of new. New feels successful. New smells good. New impresses neighbors you don't actually like. But here's the secret nobody at the dealership tells you. A 3-year-old car does the same thing. Same roads, same destinations, same grocery store parking lot. But it costs dramatically less because someone else already paid the depreciation tax for you. Buying new because it's reliable is mostly a story we tell ourselves. Modern cars are built to last far longer than we act like they do. What you're really buying is status, wrapped in monthly payments. And those payments quietly delay everything else. Savings, investments, freedom. But hey, at least you've got the new model. Now let's pivot to another American favorite. Clothing. Specifically, expensive branded clothing. This is where things get psychologically fascinating. Because clothing isn't about warmth or function anymore. It's about identity. A plain white t-shirt costs $10. A plain white t-shirt with a logo costs $200. Same cotton, same stitching, often the same factory, different message. That logo says, "Look at me, I'm doing well." And here's the brutal truth. Nobody cares. Not really. People notice for half a second, then go back to worrying about their own lives. You didn't gain respect. You didn't gain status. You just lost money. Now, quality matters sometimes. Good boots, a solid coat, things that last years. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about paying luxury prices for marketing. Designer jeans, luxury sneakers, handbags that cost more than some people's emergency funds. And the wild part? A lot of this stuff is bought with credit. People are literally paying interest to look successful. That's not confidence. That's insecurity with a payment plan. And marketing loves this. Because marketing doesn't sell products. It sells feelings, belonging, validation, the illusion of arrival. And Americans are drowning in it. Now let's talk about vacations. Because this one is sacred. Travel is supposed to be enriching, broadening, meaningful, and it can be. But somewhere along the way, vacations turned into competitive spending events. Flights are expensive. Hotels are insane. Even budget options feel offensive. And yet people keep booking trips they can't comfortably afford because Instagram has convinced them that staying home equals failure. So they swipe the card. They post the photos. They smile. Then they come home and spend the next year paying it off. With interest. That's not travel freedom. That's renting memories from your future self. And future you is tired. The idea that you must travel constantly while you're young is wildly oversimplified. Experiences matter. So does not being financially stressed for decades. Sometimes the smarter move is smaller trips. Closer trips, cheaper trips. But that doesn't get likes. So people don't do it. Instead, they collect passport stamps and credit card balances, and then they wonder why saving feels impossible. And we haven't even touched subscriptions yet. That's coming. But before we go there, pause for a second. Notice the pattern. It's not one big mistake. It's 1,000 small, normalized ones. Things that feel reasonable in isolation, deadly in combination. And we're just getting started. Because the next section, that's where modern America really starts bleeding money. Now let's talk about the quiet killer, the one that doesn't feel dangerous, the one that never hurts all at once, the one that slowly drains your bank account while smiling politely. Subscriptions. America didn't switch from ownership to subscriptions. America sleepwalked into it. One day you were buying things. The next day you were renting your entire life, monthly. Streaming services, music apps, cloud storage, premium versions, plus versions, pro versions. Each one looks harmless. $10 here, $15 there. That's nothing, right? Wrong. Because subscriptions don't feel like spending. They feel like background noise. Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Maximum, Prime Video, Apple, TV, Paramount Plus, Peacock. At this point, your TV has more services than a hotel concierge. And let's be honest, you watch maybe two. The rest exist in a weird psychological limbo called, I might need it someday. So you keep paying. Every month, every year. $80 a month doesn't sound dramatic. Until you realize that's almost $1,000 a year for television, not education, not investing, not skills, television. And that's before we even talk about cable. Yes, cable. Somehow, in the year we live in, people are still paying $120 a month for 900 channels they never watch. Why? Because canceling feels annoying. Because it's familiar. Because that's what they've always done. Inertia is expensive, and streaming isn't the only place this happens. Music subscriptions you forgot about. Fitness apps you opened twice. Meditation apps you used once during a breakup. Cloud storage plans holding files you don't remember uploading. This isn't convenience anymore. This is death by 1,000 tiny charges. And the companies know it. They're not hoping you love the product forever. They're hoping you forget to cancel. Now let's move to another classic American money leak. Gym memberships, the most optimistic purchase in human history. You sign up feeling motivated, powerful, healthy. The first 2 weeks, you're unstoppable. Then life happens. Work, stress, weather, Netflix. But the charges keep coming. $50 a month, $60 a month. You don't go, but you don't cancel. Because canceling feels like admitting failure. So instead, you pay hundreds of dollars a year to protect your ego. This isn't about fitness. This is about sunk cost psychology. And it works beautifully. Now let's talk about electronics. Specifically, upgrading electronics. This is where American consumer culture really shines. A new phone comes out. Your current phone works fine. Battery's okay. Screen's intact. Apps load. But the ads start whispering. Better camera. Faster chip. Slightly thinner. Suddenly, your perfectly functional device feels embarrassing. Outdated. So you upgrade. $1,000. Sometimes more. And here's the wild part. Most people use their phones for texting, scrolling, taking pictures of food, arguing online. Your phone from 3 years ago can do all of that. But tech companies don't sell functionality. They sell FOMO. And Americans are very responsive to it. Phones, laptops, tablets, smartwatches. Upgrade cycles get shorter, prices get higher. And devices are designed to age badly. Batteries degrade. Software slows down. Repair costs feel intentional. Planned obsolescence isn't a conspiracy. It's a business model. If you replaced your phone every 5 years instead of every 2, you'd save thousands. Thousands. But that requires resisting the cultural pressure to always have the latest thing. And resistance is hard when everyone around you is upgrading. Now let's step into the home. Specifically, household purchases. This is where branding gets sneaky. Cleaning products, kitchen gadgets, furniture. People spend insane amounts of money on items that do the same thing cheaper versions do. Generic cleaning supplies work really well. But marketing convinced us that the branded version is safer, stronger, smarter. So we pay double. Same with kitchen gadgets. America is obsessed with the idea of the perfect kitchen. Specialized tools for tasks done once a year. Bread makers, pasta machines, air fryers for the air fryer's air fryer. Most of it collects dust, but it looked good at the time. And furniture. This one deserves its own moment. People are financing furniture. Financing a couch with interest. A couch that will be saggy, stained, and emotionally broken within 5 years. But because it looks nice in the showroom and matches the rug, people sign payment plans like it's a mortgage. This isn't about comfort. This is about image, and image is expensive. Which brings us to the most dangerous category of all. Status spending. This is spending money not to improve your life, but to signal something to other people. Watches, luxury bags, high-end cars, designer everything. Here's the uncomfortable truth. The people most obsessed with looking wealthy usually aren't. Actually, wealthy people don't need to prove it. They're not impressed by logos. They're impressed by freedom, time, options, security. Status spending is about insecurity. It's about trying to buy respect. But respect doesn't come from brands. It comes from behavior. And debt is not respectable. The saddest part? Most people doing this are one emergency away from panic. No savings, no investments. But great shoes. It's backwards. Now zoom out. Look at everything we've covered so far. Food that costs more but isn't better. Cars that drain wealth. Clothes that sell identity instead of quality. Vacations that create debt. Subscriptions that never stop. Electronics designed to be replaced. Homes filled with overpriced stuff. Status spending that impresses no one. None of this makes you happier long term. It just makes you busier paying for it. And here's where things get real. Most Americans don't have an income problem. They have a leakage problem. Money comes in, then quietly bleeds out through normalized expenses. And because everyone around you is doing the same thing, it feels normal. But normal isn't working. Normal is stressed. Normal is anxious. Normal is one medical bill away from chaos. So what's the alternative? No, it's not living like a monk. It's intentional spending. It's asking one uncomfortable question before buying something. Is this actually improving my life? Or am I just following the script? Cooking more at home isn't deprivation. It's control. Keeping your car longer isn't failure. It's intelligence. Skipping an upgrade isn't falling behind. It's opting out. Buying generic isn't cheap. It's efficient. And here's the most important mindset shift. You can look rich, or you can be rich. For most people, you don't get both. Looking rich costs money. Being rich requires patience. And patience doesn't photograph well, but it compounds beautifully. Every dollar you don't waste is a dollar that can work for you. Savings, investments, options, that's real power. And once you feel that power, the shiny stuff loses its grip. You stop chasing, you start choosing, and that's when everything changes. But we're not done yet. Because the final part is where we tie this together. The psychology, the system, and the decision you're about to make, whether you realize it or not. Now here's the part nobody likes to admit. This isn't an accident. America didn't just end up like this financially. This environment was built, carefully, intentionally, not by some shadowy villain twirling a mustache, but by incentives. Companies are rewarded for getting you to spend more often, with less friction and less thought. And the most profitable customer isn't the rich one. It's the one who feels middle class, stressed, and slightly behind. Because that person keeps buying hope. Hope that the next purchase will make life feel easier. Hope that the next upgrade will feel like progress. Hope that the next experience will finally make things feel worth it. And hope is very expensive. Modern America runs on psychological leverage, convenience over consciousness, speed over reflection, emotion over math. That's why almost nothing asks you to stop and think. One-click buying, auto-renew subscriptions. Buy now, pay later. The goal is simple. Don't give your rational brain time to speak. Because if you actually paused and asked, is this worth it? Most of the system would collapse. Think about how often you buy things because you're tired, or stressed, or bored, or annoyed. That's not a coincidence. That's when your defenses are lowest, and this is where money stops being about numbers and starts being about identity. People don't buy things. They buy stories. The story of being successful, the story of being responsible, the story of being fun, the story of being ahead. Every purchase whispers something about who you are or who you want to be. And here's the uncomfortable part. Most Americans are chasing a version of themselves they were sold, not one they chose. You were told adulthood looks a certain way. New car, nice place, frequent dining, annual vacation, latest tech. So you chase it, even if it doesn't actually make you calmer, or safer, or happier. And when it doesn't work, you assume the problem is you. You think you need to earn more, work harder, hustle longer. But what if the real problem isn't your income? What if it's the script? Because here's something nobody tells you early enough. Wealth isn't built by doing what feels normal. Normal is expensive. Normal is fragile. Normal is exhausted. Wealth is built by doing what feels slightly uncomfortable at first. Driving the car longer. Saying no when others say yes. Spending deliberately instead of automatically. That doesn't make you boring. It makes you dangerous. Financially. Because once you stop playing the game the way it's designed, you start winning by default. And that's why this channel exists. Not to shame you, not to tell you to stop enjoying life, not to turn money into misery, but to hand you back control. Because here's the truth. Money is just stored time. Every dollar you spend represents hours of your life. And when you waste money, you're not just losing cash. You're giving away time you'll never get back. Time you could have used to breathe, to choose, to rest. Financial freedom isn't about yachts. It's about options. The option to say no. The option to leave. The option to slow down. And those options are built quietly, not through flashy wins, but through boring consistency. Most people never get there because they're too busy trying to look like they already have. But you stayed until the end of this video. Which tells me something. You're not here for shortcuts. You're here for clarity. And clarity is rare. Now let's bring this home. If you feel a little uncomfortable right now, good. That means something landed. That means your brain is recalibrating. And here's the moment where most videos beg. Please like and subscribe. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'll say this. If this video made you rethink even one habit, if it made you pause before your next purchase, if it made you feel a little less crazy for questioning the system, then this channel is already working for you. Subscribing isn't supporting me. It's bookmarking a mindset. It's choosing long-term intelligence over short-term comfort. And if you really want to do something powerful, don't send this video to everyone. Send it to one person. Someone you actually trust. Someone you have real conversations with. Someone who's smart, but tired of pretending this all makes sense. Say, watch this. Let's talk. That's how ideas spread. And finally, leave a comment. Not a great video. Leave a real one. Something you noticed. Something you disagreed with. Something that hit too close to home. Because this video wasn't made by an algorithm. It was made by someone who studied this, lived this, and decided honesty mattered more than comfort. And if you're still here, you're exactly the kind of person this channel is for. Welcome to the smarter side of money. We're just getting started.